So one by one, we will learn that how you can create the different type of functions. So first I will take the example of, you can say, for understanding this concept, we are going to take the example of the addition. Okay, addition function. So we are going to create a function public, public, and I'm creating a function public void, and we'll give the name addition, or you can say add. Just give the add and just write this thing. Okay. Within the add function, I'm writing some code here. Int a, I've taken some variable int a, some value 3, and then I int a b and some value 4, and then we have int c, and we have here some value int c, or you can say int a plus b. Is it okay? Now we can do one thing. We can, if you want to print the value, you can print the value s5 so, and we can write, you can say result, or you can just see whatever is that plus. Okay, now the thing is that I'm going to create a functions. So whenever you are going to create a function, you have to understand the syntax of the function. Okay, how you define the function? First of all, whenever you are defining the function, the first thing you have to write name of the function. Getting my point? I've already told you this thing in the previous session, that how you can create the function like the syntax. No. Yes or no? Say yes or no.
No, sir.
Okay, so the syntax is that first of all, you have to define name of the function. Okay, name of function, whatever name you want to give to your function. For example, in my current case, the name of the function is add. So now how you come to know that this is a function? You are giving the name, and this name you are giving for a function. After giving the name of the function, you have to use a symbol, this symbol. Getting my point? This is mandatory. Name of the function, and after that you have to give this symbol. This symbol means it is a function. Now after this function, you have to give curly bracket. What is the purpose of this bracket? To define the scope of the function, to define the boundary of the function. Getting my point? Now before the name of the function in syntax, you have to give the output type. What we have to give? Output type, or you can say return type. Getting my point? Output type or return type. Okay, now this thing is known as an output type, or you can say a return type. Third thing, if you want to pass some parameter, because you have seen sometime you have to give some input also. Okay, and you have to take some output also. So what type of output you want to take, you have to give before the name of the function, and whatever input you want to provide, that should be the part of this bracket. In this bracket, you can define input parameters. Is it okay? Anybody have any doubt in terms of syntax? One by one, on the base of these parameters, I will show you I'm creating the functions. Is it okay? Now tell me, in this function, the name of the function is add. This is the bracket, which is blank. Before the name of the function, I'm using void. And void is also treated as a return type, but void means nothing. When you don't want to return anything from your function, you use a keyword void. And this function I've already told you. What is that? This, whenever you are using before any function, this is known as access specifier. This is known as access specifier. So as you can define the access specifier for your properties. In the same way, you can define the access specifiers, FIE, access specifiers for your functions. This is the syntax, you can say. And in the practical, I will show you the syntax one by one. Okay. So now here you can see, add is the name of the function. Bracket is blank, means it is not taking any parameter. Before the name of the function, it is void. It means it is not returning anything. Is it okay? Now tell me one thing.
Yes.
In which category this function is lying? Can you tell me which is lies? In which category it is lying?
No input, no output.
Very good. It is actually lying in the category of no input and no output. So now I will show you that how you can call this function from outside. Let me take the example of RC. So instead of that, let me write stu.add. When you are calling this function, at the time of calling function, you will see. At the time of calling function, you will see that whenever you are calling the function in Eclipse, it will show you the syntax also. Okay, now tell me, you are able to see this add. This add is actually following a proper syntax. Add, then bracket. So that's why you are able to understand add is a function. How you come to know that student roll number is a property? Because student roll number property do not contain bracket. Getting my point? Getting my point, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So student roll number is showing without that one, and you can say add function is showing the bracket. So we are saying add is a function. Now after colon, Eclipse shows the return type of the function. Can you tell me what is the return type of the add function when you are trying to call it? It is void.
Void.
Right. And after that, you will see a dash, or you can say a hyphen is there, and you will able to see name of the class. And this is the name of the class where this function exists. Who is the owner of that function? Getting my point? So you understand the syntax. Whenever you try to call any function in the Selenium also, you will say, you will create the object of the Selenium class in dot, and you will able to see this is the name of the function. It is taking some input parameters or not. It is returning something or not. And it is also important that whether it is who is the owner of this class. Getting my point? This syntax is clear. So can you tell me who is going to tell me that what is the meaning of toString? Can you tell me? ToString method is taking any parameter?
Yes.
No.
No,
No.
bracket is blank. What is the return type of toString method?
String.
String.
Very good. And who is the owner of this class? Owner of this function?
Object.
Very good.
Object.
So this is very important thing. Trust me, it is going to make your life easy. Now, for example, I want to call the add. So we know that we click on add function, it will call. And we are clicking on add, you will see, I don't need to give any input parameter. So we are good to go. Let me run this thing and see. It is printing result 7. Now here the question is that most of the time you will see people asking one thing, Pradeep, you have told us that this function is not returning anything. So, but it is giving some output, and you are using the term output. So here you have to mention one thing. If you have seen my videos, you can give the answer clearly. Anybody have idea why I'm saying that this function is actually example of no input and no output? So why I'm getting this result, RES7? Anybody can give the answer? This is very important. Okay, anybody can tell me, what do you mean by output? Output means if you are giving some input and you are getting something in the result in your hand, and you can modify it, you can play with it. Getting my point? Now tell me one thing.
Yes, sir.
I am writing this statement, that's why you are able to see. And where this statement is written? Within the function which you are calling. Yes or no?
Yes.
Is it possible that I call this line of code in my Ashish? I want to print the result, like whatever in the Ashish class, Ashish called the function student.add. Whatever is added, whatever is the result, I want to print in my student. I want to print in my Ashish class. Can I print it here? For printing, what I have to do? I have to store the result in a variable. Yes or no? Just see, we can store it or not. Int, I'm just taking a variable here, int res equal to. And here I will print the value of res in the result here. In my class, I'm printing the value, but you are able to get the error. What error you are getting? Anybody can read the error for me? Who is going to read the error for me?
Type mismatch cannot convert from void to int.
Yes, it is saying that right side you are writing calling a code student.add, and it is returning nothing. If it is not returning anything, can you store in a variable? Tell me one thing. If somebody is not returning anything, can you store in a variable? No. That's why it is an example of no input and no output. Then the people ask that why it is printing? Because we have written a system.out.print is not an output statement. People use the wrong term for it. The proper term for this method is that it is a print statement. It is a print statement. Output is something different. Print is something different. Print statement, you can call it anywhere. Output is means the line where you are calling the code, you will get the output there. Getting my point? So you will see, if I am going to remove this 2 lines of code, you can say I'm removing it here. Let me do one thing. Let me copy this code and comment it here. control check. Let me write the simple code here and let me write comment. Yes, the commented one. So when I want to show you this condition, I will show you. Now just see here, if I remove this statement from addition here, tell me, I'm going to call this function from here. Tell me, are you able to see any display statement, print statement? Function is run completed. Are you able to see any statement? No.
No.
So now this is very important how it is working. And trust me, if you learn this thing, your most of the Selenium concept will be clear. Now just see what happens. Whenever we run this command, run as Java application, Java took it control to the main function. And in the main function, one by one, it executes the line. How you can tell me that how many statements I've written here? Can anybody tell me how many statements is written in the main function? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many?
2.
2. Because how you come to know that one statement is this? Every statement, when it is completed, it is suffixed by semicolon. When you are able to understand, oh, this is a semicolon, it means one statement completed. Getting my point?
Yes.
And I can prove it also. Because it is a semicolon means one statement is completed. It is not mandatory that you write the code in next line. You can write the code in the same line also. Because Java will understand one statement is completed, then next one, that's next one. Yes or no?
Yes.
But for the alignment purpose, we do this thing so that we can say, this is one instruction, this is another instruction. It doesn't mean that if you are writing a code in the next line, it can be the same instruction. It can be the another instruction. Only what is the best point to identify? Semicolon. Getting my point? Now, two instructions are written there. First instruction, the control will come to the Java file. It will come to the first line. And I already told you how this code is going to be executed. Control will go to the student class and create the object. This thing I have already told in the first session. Yes or no? Memory, how it is created. Getting my point? You can say me yes or no. At any point of time, if you are saying that, no, Pradeep, you don't told us, I will tell it again. But tell me, I've told you this thing, how object is created, how reference is created, how memory, everything told you, yes or no?
Yes, Pradeep, Niharika this side.
Yeah, Niharika. Yeah, Niharika, tell me, I think you are again on mute. Niharika, you are again on mute. I'm not able to hear you. Niharika, are you able to hear me? Others, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes.
I think Niharika is facing any problem and the network. Niharika, we are not able to hear you. Okay, now here just see very important thing. As I told you about that, how you create the object, how it works in the memory. It actually, when it creates the object, the control will go to the next line. And here, very important thing, how this thing is executed in the memory. How this thing is executed in the memory, just see. When the control of Java come to here, when the control comes to this line, how the control goes again, click on control button and click on add. Where the control is going? Tell me. Where control is going?
Student class
Yes, it is going to the student class and on the particular function.
function.
Yes or no? And you can see again I'm going to do the same thing. When the control will come to this line, you will click on this one. So when you are clicking with the help of control, actually you are simulating the runtime execution. Just again see, control will come to this one. So now just see why I'm saying that this is important. When the control will come to this line, control will go to the add function. Within the add function, it will execute every line. 1, 2, 3. And when all the lines within this function is completed, again the control come back to the same line. Where? Line number 9. Getting my point, yes or no? Getting my point, yes or no? You can say me yes or no. Just unmute, say yes or no, and you can be on mute. So that I will understand you are getting.
Yes.
Rahul, Ashish,
Yes,
Niharika, everybody is getting?
Yes.
Now just see here, by default, whenever any function is written, these things are known as local variable. local coding. So anything which is written in any function, you cannot get any value outside this block. You cannot get any value outside this block. That's why when the control is, again, just see, control will come to here, execute 1 line, 2 line. So what we have done, they have created a local variable A3, B4, and C contains the sum of A and B, that is 7. But when the control will come back to the class student.add, it will not return anything. It will not get something from that function. It will come blank. Getting my point? And if at runtime this is not returning anything, can you write this statement at the left side? Return something variable? No. Getting my point? Yes or no? You cannot write this. Is it okay?
Yes.
Now, just see here. If I will go to here and want to return any value from this function, what thing you have to change? Whenever you want to return any value, from this function, you have to do one thing. You have to modify the structure of the function by following the rules. If you want to return something, the first thing, you have to give the output here. What is the output type? Which type of value you want to return from this function? The value of A, B, C. What type of value?
int.
C. Yes, we want to return the value of actually C, and the type of C is int. So that's why return type will be C. If you want to return some value like integer, like string, like float, you have to give this one. Getting my point? I will give the example of here. Suppose take the example. You are creating another function. I'm just creating another function in front of you, like this one. And the name of the function is display name. Okay, and display name I'm creating, and in this way I want to write this code. Suppose take the example, I'm creating a string here, string name equal to, suppose I'm just creating a variable. Let's make automation easy. So this is our name. I want to return this value from this function. So what will be the return type? I want to return the name value. What is the type of name? String. So return type of this function will be a string. So you decide the return type on the basis of value what you want to return. Maybe this function can contain so many codings are there. Addition is also written there. You can say addition is also written there. Calculation is something written. What you want to return from this function, you have a choice according to your need. So whatever you want to return, the value you want to return, you have to give that return type here as the data type. So the return type of this function will be string. And now the thing is that whenever you are giving the type of return in the function last statement, you have to write return, R-E-T-U-R-N, return, and name of the value. What value you want to return? C. And what value you want to return in display name? What value you want to return? Name. So here, this is the rule of the function, that last statement, and it's mandatory. This return should be the last statement in the function, and it is the interview question. What is the use of this line? You will see when I've written this line of code here, you can see error is gone from here. Yes or no? Error is gone, yes or no? So why the error is gone? Keep on saying yes or no so that I come to that you are listening. And if you are not getting any point, you can stop me. Pradeep, still I'm not clear on that. Can you repeat it again? So just see, when I added here integer and as well as this statement, my error from the RC's class is gone. Why? Again, just see here. What happens in this case? Your control is going to the add. It executes 3 lines of code, int A3, B4, C. And when the control is coming to the line number 24, this statement is saying that now go back to your function. Return means go back to your function and you can take the value of C with you. Getting my point, yes or no? So when the control will go back to this line, to the line here, this line of code will be replaced by the actual value. Getting my point, yes or no?
Yes.
At runtime, right side code be replaced by the actual value. Now you can see it is a valid code. You are getting something right side. You can store in a variable. Yes or no?
Yes.
And if you can store, You can
Print.
print it anywhere. So now this is called output because the person who is calling Ashish is calling this function. So in his own class, he can get the result. He can manipulate the result. Getting my point? Yes or no? I can give the example of real world also. Take the example. You have a coffee machine in your office. Getting my point? You have a coffee machine in your office. And what is that? And that is a transparent machine. You can see each and every flow when you are clicking on a T button, when you are clicking on a cappuccino button, you can see the flow of your whole process in your machine. Due to some reason, there is a bug in your machine. What is that? The hole, the pit where it gives the output, the tea, the coffee, that is blocked. Getting my point? That is at the time of manufacturing, they blocked it. Getting my point? Now tell me, you are able to see when you click on the tea button, you are able to see tea is prepared because this is a transparent machine. You can see. Yes or no? Yes or no? But you are getting any output? Tell me, you are getting any output?
No.
No. Reason is that output means you can play with it. Now tell me one thing. Rahul has just clicked on that tea button. Tea will be prepared, but that will not come out of that machine. I will say, Rahul, can you tell me what is the taste of the tea? Rahul said, sir, what you are saying that tea is there, but that is not in my hand. How I can say that? I will say, okay, can you add more sugar? Again, sir, if tea is not in my hand, how I can manipulate it? How I can add the sugar, something like that? Yes or no? So output is something which is in your hand and you can control it. Getting my point? Yes or no?
Yes.
Now you can see in Ashi's class, Ashi's at runtime Ashi's at runtime getting the value of, you can say, RES. So now I will say that can you print one next value of the result? So Ashish will do one thing simply. In the SOP, he will write whatever is the result plus 1. Yes or no? Now what Ashish has done, whatever result will come, he will print the value more than it next number. So he is able to do, because the result is in his hand, then he can add the number. Yes or no?
Yes.
So this is called output. Wherever you are getting the output at the line of coding, that is called output. Now let me again just see. Again, what was the statement here which I replaced actual code? That was actually add. Now you can see it is running fine or not. You will see here. Now go and change. Maybe the value, suppose this value was 9. Now you go and check the answer. It will give the answer 13. Why it is giving the answer? Control is going to here. It is doing everything. When it is returning from the function, it comes back to here. And at runtime, this value, this line is replaced by 13. 13 is stored in RES and RES printing. RES plus 1. Getting my point? Yes or no? Getting my point? This is very important thing. So now,
Pradeep, Niharika this side.
yeah, Niharika.
I'm not getting better because see, I missed. Starting point. So, is it possible to repeat?
Yes. Tell me one thing. From where you are saying that? Where
Starting point where you started. Yeah, today.
Okay, so again, you can say I'm starting that whenever you are creating a function in your class. Okay, your function is actually consists of 4 types on the base of input and output. Getting my point?
Yes.
So the first thing is that I created a function. Let me little bit quick here. I've created this function. So I'm just creating with the name of, let me comment this function. Okay, or let me do one thing. Let me modify this function. Same one. This is the name of the function. Okay, now you can see before the name of the function, you can write the output type. If you don't want to return anything from your function, you use a keyword that is called void. Getting my point?
Yes.
So now how the control works. This is the example of the function where no input is there and no output, because when you are returning void means no output, and where you are not giving anything in this bracket, it means no input. Getting my point?
Yes.
When you have written this line of code, you are getting the error on your Ashish, because reason is that you are calling the code from Ashish. How? Student.add. Getting my point?
Yes.
Now just see how the control works. When you are writing this code, control goes to here. It executes each and every line here, 1, 2, 3. And when all the lines are completed, the control again come back to this here. Getting my point? Now
Yes.
just see here, when control will come back to this line, you are not returning any output. You are not returning any value. That's why you cannot store here the output in any other variable, right?
Okay.
Because it is
Yes.
something like that. You are not returning anything here. It means right side value is null, nothing. So how you can return an empty value in a variable? Can you write this code? No.
No.
Now you will see, if you will see this error will be gone if I will modify the structure of my function. How? The category where I can return something. So this was the example of this one. No input and no.
No.
This was the example of no input and no output.
No
So,
output.
so let me say that we have completed this thing. This thing I have completed. Now come to
Okay.
that I'm going to modify so that I can get the output in the Ashish class. So how I can get? Second thing is that we can modify the structure of function. Second category, we want to return something. So whatever value you want to return, whatever value you want to return from the function, the type of value, not value, the type of that value, the type of that data type, you should give before the function name. In case I want to return value C, what is the type of C? Int. Before the name of the function, you have to give the return type value, return type data, return type data. And what value you want to return, you have to write as a last statement, return and C. Now you'll see when I'm writing this line of code, error is gone from the ASIS. Why? This time when control go to here, I was telling this thing actually, when control will go to here, it will run all the lines. And when the control will go back, return means just go back with the value. So when the control will go back, when it will encounter, Java will encounter this line return C, it means you are going back to the calling function. Please take this value with you. So it means when the control will come back, this line will be returned. This line will be replaced by the actual value of C at runtime. Getting my point?
Yes.
And when this value is, suppose at the runtime, this value is 7. So at this time, we can store the value because right side, you are getting the value, you can store in the left side. Yes or no?
Yes.
So this was the example of second function where, what is the example? No input but output. Yes or no?
Okay. Yes.
Now the third category, you will see there is a one drawback of this function. There is a one drawback of function. The drawback of this function is that every time Ashish is calling function, and let me call this function from some other class like Niharika. When Niharika is calling the function, she is getting the result 12. When Ashish is returning the function, he is calling the value 12. Reason is that both are actually, when calling the function, they are getting the same output because the addition input numbers are not given by the Ashish and Niharika. They are hard coded within the function. Getting my point?
Yes.
Now the thing is that it can be the requirement of the function. It can be the requirement of the function that anybody who want to call that function, they want to give their own input. Like Ashish is interested to get the sum of two numbers 5 and 7. Niharika is interested to get the sum of another two numbers. Getting my point? So how you can make this function to make this capability? Third category, you can give your function as input parameter. So instead of giving these two variables within the function, you can do one thing, remove from there and define in parameter case, int A, first parameter, comma, int B, second. Getting my point?
Yes.
So now this thing is known as where you are giving input as well as you are getting output. So this is the category input and output. I will show you the way. You are getting both the things. Now just see, when I have defined this function, you are getting error in Ashish because now the definition of function is changed. You will call it student.add. This time it is when you go to here. Now tell me, Niharika, when you are able to see this function, what this function is telling? I'm adding add function. I need two parameters. My return type is int and the owner of my class is student. So it means when you click on this function, you have to pass two parameters. Yes or no?
Yes.
So I will pass 5 and 6. Okay. Now same thing will be done by the Niharika. Maybe Niharika is interested in some other values like 9 and 9. Getting my point?
Yes.
So now you can see, because you have made this function in a category, you can give the input as well as output. So now everybody can get the output of according to their numbers. Let me run it. Ashish is getting the answer 11. Niharika is getting the answer 8.
18.
Reason is that, again, the same way, control is going the same way, but the difference is that when in case of Ashish, the control is going to here, this time, these values are also going with the calling. When the control will go to the add, it will take two variables value 5 and 6. And 5 will be stored in the first variable and 6 will be in the second variable. And in the class, what you are doing? You are making the sum of A and B. And what is your returning? C. That's why Ashish is getting the value 11. And why Niharika is getting the value 18? Because in case of Niharika, when the control is going, it is taking the value 9 and 9. A become 9, B become 9. So C become 18.
Yes.
This point is clear. This is very important. Trust me, people think that this is not important, but in the whole Selenium, you have to focus on the function. What type of parameter we have to give? What type of value we will get it? Getting my point?
Yes.
Now, same thing you can see. Same thing is that I can apply on my display function also. When I will call this function display. You can see it is returning a string. Okay, so just see what it's going to do. In the Ashish, I'm going to call this function. Let me make a comment here for this one. I want to call the another function stu.display. And let me run it. Are you getting any answer here? No, because here what you are going to do, here you are, because it is calling the function. Again, just see, very important. It come to this function, executed every time. It written this statement also. But have you ever printed this statement in Ashish? No. You can store in a variable. Now tell me, what type of variable you have to create to store the display name output? Tell me. I will tell you the return type of display. What is the return type of display?
String.
Yes. So the return type of function is string. So it means in your Ashish class, if you want to return the value of return, you have to give the any string variable. I can see here my name and this one. Now you can print this value name. Mine. Let me run it. You are getting the output. Let me make automation, because how it is working. Control goes to here, executed each and every line, but at the end, what thing need to be written? Name. So it is returning this one. Getting my point?
Yes, Pradeep.
So this is the thing that whenever, now here you are written the code that every time for everybody it will return this string. Suppose take the example, your function needs that you have to modify, you have to create a function that the person who is calling the function just display their name. They will pass the name in the function. Okay, like something, and you have to give let's make automation Ashish, let's make auto, whatever name is given by the input of the user, like Ashish and Niharika. So for this thing, I have to make my function parameterized, string string, and here you will say name. Okay, now whatever thing it will give, here I will return. Okay, don't say name here. My name and verbal I have already used here, so I can see here my name. Now you see what I'm going to do. While returning, I will write in name. I'm returning in the name what is stored. Let's make automation. I will append one thing plus name. So what it will return? What it will return? It will return let's make automation and whatever name you are passing. Just see here. Ashish, when call this function, he will pass some parameter, like he can pass anything. I'm passing Ashish. What will be the result this time? Yes or no?
Yes.
So you are getting this point that whenever you are returning any value, you have to make your function parameterized. Here, just write. In case of Niharika is passing the value Niharika. She can pass any value. Whatever value she will pass, that will be calculated in this logic. And what you are returning, that is important. So we have covered this thing, input. And now the third category, you are passing input, but you are not interested in output. So what you have to modify the function of thing. Which line of code are returning the output? Two things. Remove this return first thing, and remove instead of int, write void. Yes or no?
Yes.
So now the thing is that when you are returning this code, why you are getting the error in the RC is because this time this function is not available here. This time function is simple. You can say, sorry. You can say function is parameterized, but it is not returning. You cannot write this line of code left side, right? If
Yes.
no return, you cannot store. You cannot store any return. Now let me run it. If I run it, just see what will happen. Let me delete this. As well as let me delete this code also, otherwise you guys will be confused. Let me run this code and you will see it is making a calculation of 99918, but you are not able to see because you are not returning here first thing, and as well as you are not printing in the function. Yes or no?
Yes.
But you will see for Niharika, the answer is for Niharika, answer will be this one, and for Ashish, the answer will be 11. But you are not able to see. But you are not able to
See.
because it is taking the input but is not showing any output. So that's why it is very important whenever you are giving any dynamic input and at least you are not interested to take any output, at least you should make the printing in the function itself. Yes or no? So that
Yes.
the caller of the function, the caller, the Ashish, Niharika, they can also know, oh, I have passed 5 and 6. What was the output? I'm not interested to make a calculation. I'm not interested to manipulate. I'm not interested to modify the thing at my end, but at least I should see the result. So that's why it is recommended whenever you are creating a function, something like that, input but no output, try to print the value itself in the function, not outside. Getting my point? Now you see, when Ashish will run, at least he will see the print one. When Niharika will run, at least she will see the print. Getting my point?
Yes.
So these, trust me, these 4 type of functions are widely used everywhere. So what thing you have to focus? What type it is returning? What type it is returning? And on the basis of that, you are going to create a variable at your end. Is it okay?
Yes.
So anybody have any question? Now you can see I'm removing this thing. This is the syntax to explain. Otherwise, whenever you write the syntax, it is very, very simple. Give the name of the function, bracket, you want to pass the parameter or not, just before return time and before it access specified. Getting my point?
Yes.
So if anybody have any question, you can ask me. Anybody have any question? No, then I'm going to tell you very interesting thing also in the function. Anybody have any question?
No, Pradeep.
Okay.
No.
Now let me come back to the Ashish class. Now here you will see, let me remove this thing. Very interesting thing I've told you one thing in the first session also, that a class contains only 2 things. One is properties and another is
Function.
Function.
very good.
Function.
Now tell me, I'm saying that from the starting that a class contains only 2 things. One is properties and one is functions. Now the question is that I already told you this thing also, how you can make a difference that which is the property name and which is the function. Tell me how you come to know that student roll number is a property, not a function. Tell me.
Syntax उसका bracket होता है
Yes,
function.
bracket, because in the student roll number there is no bracket, but in the add we have a bracket, in the display we have a bracket. Yes or no?
Yes.
And now we will come to the Ashish class. You will see when you are calling this function add, you are able to see this bracket. It means this is a function. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you tell me in my Ashish program, are you able to see the same symbol in line number 8?
Yes.
Where you are able to see this symbol at line number 8? Here.
Yes, sir.
And I told you your class contains 2 things, only properties and function. It means it is something a function. Yes or no? There should be a function with the name of student. Yes or no?
Yes.
There
Yes.
should be a function with that. Now, how I can make sure that where this function exists? How we can come to know? Simple, do one thing. Click on control and click on this function. And just tell me where control is going. Where control is going?
Student class.
Student class.
It means one thing is clear. this function is available. Because the thing is that, tell me, if I remove the add function from this class, we start getting error on the line number this one. Why? Because add function is not available. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
But the question is that if this function is not, if student name function is not available in my class, why it is not giving the error? It means one thing is sure, this function is available in the class. That's why control is coming to the student class. Yes or no?
Yes.
I will give the another example. Try to do one thing. Try to create the object of a Prinka class also. New Prinka. And you will see very interesting thing. This is the line of code to create the object of the Prinka. When
Object.
yes, when you will see, I click on Prinka, where the control is going. It means you will see definitely this is a function, and every class contains a function with the name of the class. Means in every class by default a function is there, and the name of that function is same as the name of the class. And this special function is known as constructor. What we call this special function? Constructor. And the purpose of this function is to create the object in your memory. That's why in the first session I told you how they create the object, how Java create the object. When you write this line of code, actually all the things which I have shown you, like big memory, oval, properties, everything is taken care within this function. Getting my point? Everything is taken care in this function, this constructor. Now the question is that, Pradeep, if constructor is there, why we are not able to see? Because Java has made this constructor by default. If you are not creating this constructor, still is it available in the class? Getting my point? By default, it is available in your class. I can prove it. How? Just see here. First thing, it is not giving any error. Okay, let me comment this thing. I'm just writing a code to this one. Let me run. You are not getting any error. Means this student function is available. Control is going to the student class. It means available in the student class. Yes or no? Yes. Let me run this file and just see. Are you able to see any display statement? No. Because how I can prove that this function is actually available in the student class in the invisible format? Let me make it visible. How? I'm writing that function by my own. PUB LIC, and I will write student, and I will write bracket and this one, and you will see I'm writing a code here so that when I will run it, you can see this is the same function or not. I will write a statement student constructor. Now tell me, I have made any changes in my RC's class? Code is still same, yes or no?
Yes.
Now let me run this thing and see that what you are getting in the display. What you are getting in the display?
Student constructor.
It means actually I was telling the same thing. Before writing this code in the class, this function was available, but you were not able to see. And that function have some coding, but by default, nothing is written as a statement. Getting my point?
Yes.
So that's why you are not able to see. But now, because I have made it visible by writing my own, and you can see it, you can say it that default constructor is by default available in the class implicitly. And if you want to see, you can make it explicitly. Getting my, you know the meaning of implicitly and explicitly? Implicitly, automatically defined. Explicitly, you are defined. So now you'll see, I will show you a very interesting thing. Now just do it here. Where the control is going? Where the control is going?
Student.
In the student class and also in the student function. Got this point?
Yes.
Yes.
So this is, so now whenever somebody asks you what is constructor, simple say, sir, constructor is a special type of function which is used to create the object in the memory for the class, and it is by default available in the function. You don't need to create it explicitly. And the condition is that the name of the function for the constructor is same as the name of the class.
Class.
Getting my point?
Yes.
Sir, I have one question.
Please.
Can we create two constructors in same class?
Yes, we can create the two constructor in the same class. Okay, and for that purpose you have to learn a concept that is called overloading. Okay, so I can do one thing, because you have asked this thing, and overloading we can usually we you can say pick this topic with overriding, but actually people have a confusion. Overloading and overriding are two different things, so we can cover it here. Okay, so now let me cover that thing. Now first of all, come to our class. Don't go to constructor. Is clear? Yes or no?
Yes.
Now
Yes, sir.
come back to the class. Now I will try to do one thing. I have created a function here, public void add. I want to create another function with the same name. Let me do it. I have created. Are you getting any error? I've created two functions
Yes.
with the same name. What is the error?
Duplicate
Duplicate
method.
method.
Okay. Now here the thing is that actually it is something like that. You are trying to create two functions with the same name in your same class. So Java is actually saying that how I can make the difference at the time of calling. When somebody will say call the add function, I will confused which add one. So I'm not aligned, duplicate. Yes, you can take the example in your own house. You have two kids and both have the name Rahul. When you say Rahul, both the Rahul will confused. Yes or no? Mama is calling
Yes.
to me or mama is calling to me. Yes or no? So you should
Yes.
at least take. So it is in Java also, whenever you want to keep two functions in the same class with the same name, there is a condition. And what is the condition? Condition is that you have to make the difference in two functions in either of the one ways. Either of the one ways. What is the number of parameters? Just make a difference in number of parameters.
Parameters.
Like this function contains two parameters. If you want to create another function with the same name, either reduce the number of parameter or increase it. I'm increasing it. Int b comma int b. Sorry, int b. Are you able to see error is gone?
Yes.
It means whenever you want to create two functions with the same name in your class, you have to make a difference. First difference you can make with the help of number of parameters. It will allow. Getting my point?
Yes.
Now let me remove it. Second thing is that if you are not needed, it is not a requirement that you have to add the parameter. Second, you can say that you can change the sequence of parameters. Getting my point?
Yes.
I will tell you what do you mean by sequence of parameters. Sequence of parameters means sometime what happen. One function is written int a, and for example, let me write here. Let me create a separate function that will be easy for you. So I'm creating a third function with the same name. Just see here. Okay, instead of sequence, let me first take the example of type of parameter. That is more good. Type of parameter. What is type of? How many parameters here defined? Two, and both the type of int. Yes or no?
Yes.
I want to create a function with the same name with the same number of parameters. So I have to create the differences parameter. Int a, second is float. Okay. Now you can see it means you have make a difference. Either make a difference in number of parameters or type of parameters, and the third one is that sequence of parameters. What is sequence of parameters? Means in this function, one parameter, first parameter is int and second parameter is
Float.
you can do one thing. You can create another function. Make first float and second int. Getting my point?
Yes.
So the thing is that, again, let me conclude the things. Whenever you want to create multiple functions in the same class with the same name, you have to fulfill the condition. Just try to make the difference, either number of parameters or type of parameters or sequence of parameters. And this concept, when you are using these three things to make multiple function in your class, this concept is known as function overload. We call it function overloading. With the help of function overloading, you can keep multiple functions with the same name. Getting my point?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, now Rahul asked very good question. Pradeep, can we keep multiple constructor? Yes. So that is also known as constructor overloading. Getting my point? That is called
Constructor
constructor.
overloading.
So because constructor is also a function, you can create another constructor, but you have to make a difference. What is that? Just paste some parameter like int a. Getting my point?
Yes.
So this is called constructor overload. Constructor is
Oh,
also a function. The type of, you can say, overloading, which is applied on normal function, that is applied on constructor. Getting my
so the
point?
so the function name is same, but how we can call?
Simple. At the time of calling, you know that you will get options separately. Let me write it here. Just see here. You are talking about the, let me talk about the function first of all. stu dot. Let me show you, because it is able to identify easily. Are you able to see function, every function? Add,
Yes,
add,
yes,
add.
yes.
And now
Got it.
there is no ambiguity. Ambiguity means there is no confusion. Reason is that at the time of calling, she knows that she knows that which function he's calling. He's calling two integer function, two float function, first float integer or two. So at the time of calling, she is clear on that. So there is no doubt at the time of run. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Now the second thing is that Rahul asked me about the constructor, about the constructor. So this is for the Rahul, especially for Rahul, for his energy. That just see here, Rahul, when you write new and say control space, how many constructor you are able to see?
2.
It means at the time of creating the object in your code, how many constructors are defined that you can use your own. You can use the default one without parameter, and you can use, getting my point?
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
So now, anybody want to ask any question?
No,
So
Pradeep.
if we select the second one, that is student with parameter, we
Yeah,
will get same, right? When
yeah,
we call the other function stu dot.
yeah. You can see here. Yeah, there is no difference in that case, because the way of creating the object is different. Getting my point? stu dot. If you are calling this one at,
Okay.
let me take this example. This one, I'm passing 4 and 5. You will get the same answer here. Let me run it. Getting my point?
Got it. Yes,
Yes.
yes.
But here I want to tell you one interesting thing. Nobody asked me this thing. Pradeep, if we are using the parameterized constructor, you can say this constructor, where you are making it parameterized, where it is taking parameter. What is the use of this parameter? What is the use of this parameter? And trust me, I'm going to tell you the 1 million question. Trust me, you can ask this question and I can bet on that. I'm not making a proud on that, but I can bet on that. You can ask this question and you will rarely get the answer from a tester at least. Okay. And I can bet on that from developers also. And what is that? I told you one thing, that in your properties, you have used a keyword final. Yes or no? You have used a keyword final? Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
And at that time, I told you, what is the use of this keyword? To lock your memory. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Now you will see one thing. You will see one thing. I'm just deleting this function. I'm deleting both the function actually. Just see here, very interesting thing. This is giving the error. Why it is
Yes.
giving that? Why it is giving the error? Because you know that when the control will come to here, which line? Using default constructor. This constructor is by default defined. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
And this code is written in the constructor when control is come to here. Allocate the memory in the allocate the object memory, and then try to define on the basis of your keyword. So this memory is defined, but this memory will define and store blank value, and that will be final log. So that's why it is saying that if you are making any variable final, and at the same time creating the object, it will be log. It is useless. Yes or no?
Yes.
So that's why you should store something here. Yes or no?
Yes.
But what was the problem? Problem was only this thing, na, that whenever it will create the object, at the time of creating object, when the object creation will be completed, it will be logged. Yes or no? When the object will be created, it will be logged. Yes or no?
Yes.
Just see one thing here. I'm not going to write this code here. It is giving error. Let it give error here. Just do one thing. Create the functions here. Constructor public public void. Oh, sorry, public. Not in the constructor. We don't write void. Student, and we'll see you an interesting thing. I've created this thing. Now tell me, error is gone from the line number 13. Error is gone from the line 13. Yes or no?
Yes.
But now appears at line number 5. It means whenever you are creating a constructor, this problem is solved here, but now it is delegated to student. Now tell me what error you are able to see on your explicit constructor. Rahul, can you read the error for me?
The blank final field student school name may not have been initialized.
Wow. Now you are getting this point. What is saying? Actually, your program is saying that these are the properties. It will be final. If you are not assigning any value, I'm not giving the error here because I assume that this is the place which creates the object. Yes or no? Constructor create the object. So they are making a doubt in this function. Maybe you are initializing it. Yes or no?
Yes.
So because the function was not in your control, it was giving the error. But when you define this function here, now the Java is saying that, oh, maybe you are creating this property, initializing this property in this function. Getting my point?
Yes.
And you want to see when I give this value here, Error is gone, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Error is gone or not?
Yes.
Reason is that now you will see when there was no constructor you have defined, directly control was coming to your class without default constructor, and at the time they were assigning the value. But here what will happen? You have defined it. So it means control, when the control will go to the constructor, it will see that you have to create the values, you have to create the memory as well as you are assigning the value. So when the control will come out of this box, out of this constructor, your memory will have the value and then logged. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Sir, we can also remove this now, public student, that function, square bracket, and directly.
No, I didn't get you. Means you are saying that this remove this part?
Yes, yes, yes.
This part? No, don't try.
And square bracket also.
And
Square bracket also.
where you are seeing a square bracket?
Sorry, curly bracket.
Curly braces.
No. Actually, if you are removing the curly bracket, actually you are writing the same line code again.
Because this is also a function, means constructor,
Actually,
public class student, first line, third line.
No, this is your class. This is class syntax. This is your body, something different. If you are, just think about that. If you are removing this thing also, now this thing is treated as this thing. Yes or no? Actually, you are trying to write same property 2 times. Getting my point? Here we are not creating the property. We are trying to assign the property value. Getting my point? Property is already there. In the function, you are trying to initialize the value. Getting my point?
So I'm confused between the constructor, because what we said, the constructor is by default present, right?
By default
And
present.
we are making this string as a final, and again we are creating a constructor, right?
So, but the thing about that, when you created this constructor, that default constructor is gone, because default constructor is gone. When you created it explicitly, the default constructor which is present, that is not no more exist here. Getting my point? So it means when the control will come to this class, just here, control will come to this class. Everything it is doing to create the object means this thing will be there. But before exiting, it will assign the value within the function. So this value, when the object will created, completed the process of object creation, this value will be assigned with GGGG. Getting my point?
Yes.
So actually you can think about that. What code is written in this bracket? Object creation process. Getting my point? And when the object is created, object creation process is within this function. And when the object is created, when the controls comes out of this body and again return to the this place. When the control comes out of this body and just go back to this place, object is created. It means before the control comes out of this body of this function, you can do anything with the object. Getting my point? So in this thing, you can see here. Okay, let me show you one interesting thing. Student. Okay, let me show you one interesting thing here. Maybe. So I have shown you one function student here and written this thing here. Getting my point? Because this thing is written in the object. So let me run this thing and just see what value you are getting. What value you are getting when you are printing the value student dot school name. Just see here what value you are getting. stu dot school name. Oh, where is school name? Oh, I'm not getting public. Just see what value you are getting for the school name. Student dot school name. What value you are getting? Yes, because the thing is that when this object was created, at the time of creation, it follows all the things which I told you previously. Other than that, it is also doing one more thing. It is adding this value in the student roll number. Getting my point? Okay, do another thing. In the student name dot, tell me one thing. What this line is going to do? This line of code is going to assign the value and roll number. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
And I'm printing the value here. Just tell me what you are able to see in the console. 4 and GG and 4. Yes or no?
Yes.
I just do one thing. Remove this line. If I remove this line, do you think it will print STU roll number 4? It will print the value student roll number 4? Just run it.
No.
No. It is printing the value 0 because you have not assigned any value. But do one thing. You can do one thing. Just go into the student class. In the same constructor, just write student roll number equal to 4. Still, it will do the same thing because instead of assigning the value after creating the object, you have defined the value within the object process function. That is called constructor. Whatever you are doing in the constructor function, that will be reflected. What you are getting? Are you getting my point? Whatever things you want to modify in your object, you can write in your constructor. Getting my point? Yes or no?
Yes.
So now, rarely I tell this topic in usual sessions. Reason is that it can be little bit confusing. Okay. Now again, because I've told you this thing, so let me tell you the final thing of this part. Sometime, now tell me one thing. If I'm writing this code for student roll number GG, school name GG, student roll number for 4. If I will create 2 objects, let me take the example. This is student 1. I'm creating another object. Just see here. So student 2. What values will be printed for student 1 and 2?
GG4.
Both are same?
Yes.
Now tell me one thing. Do you think that for 2 objects, I'm just asking in the logical term, the roll number should be same?
No.
So because every time any object is created, control is going to here. That's why they are printing this value 4. It is hard coded. Yes or no?
Yes.
Now I will tell you, you can do one more thing here. Just do one thing. Try to do one thing. Try to create another flavor of this one. And I will tell you how you can make it possible. Just see here. Don't write this code as a hard coded. First of all, make your function parameterized. Int, you can say anything you want to write, like a roll number, roll. Okay, now just see what I'm going to do. You have made your function constructor parameterized, yes or no?
Yes.
Now do one thing. Go to assist. Don't call this normal function. Use parameterized function. You can pass the value here, whatever you want to pass. Here I'm passing 5. Here I'm passing 6. Getting my point? I will tell you the benefit. Benefit of parameterized constructor is that you don't need to assign the value in the separate line. When you're passing the value in the constructor also, you can write this code here. What? Student roll number equal to not 4. Student roll number equal to roll, whatever you are passing. Getting my point?
Yes.
Now you'll see the benefit. I'm running this code and you will see the first function, the first object is printing 5, and second function it is printing 6. Because the thing is that you have actually whatever you are doing after creating the object, you have done within the object, and you have make it parameterized so that whenever object is created, object will tell the property value passing it. You can say first student, it is passing 5, so 5 will be the value. It is passing 6, the 6 will be the value. Getting my point?
Yes.
This is clear, yes or no? Say yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm removing here the static part, you can say. In the static part, it is not meant because static part you don't need right here. Okay, so maybe you are making a static, it is best thing because static thing, this will always be same. So static thing you can define it. But when you are defining any non-static variable, you should actually use the parameters constructor for that. Okay, let me do one thing. I'm not going into a detail, otherwise you will be confused.
Sir, in constructor, we don't use void keyword, no?
No, it is a syntax of that. How it is different from others. In the constructor, void keyword is not used. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the part of it. Now you got the benefit of parameterized constructor.
Yes.
Now I will tell you one more interesting thing. What is the benefit of that? Suppose take the example. I want to make the student roll number final, and actually we should make it final. Why? Anybody can tell me? Student roll number is something like that. Student roll number is something like that, which should be created at the time of creation. It should be unique, but after that nobody can change it. Yes or no?
Yes.
So in this case, actually parameterized constructor is very good. You can see here, you cannot change the value of a student roll number, but it cannot be assigned before creating the object. Yes or no?
Yes.
If I have assigned the value in this way, it means it is shared and it will be created before creating the object. But how you can make sure that roll number is created? Once you create the object, the value is assigned, that is unique, and after that it cannot be changed. And the answer is that parameterized constructor. And what is that? Just see here. In that case, what you have to do? In this case, do one thing. If you want to achieve this thing, simply do one thing. In your class, you have achieved it. Reason is that in this class, what you are doing? You are setting the roll number within the constructor. Yes or no?
Yes.
So now this class is not complaining because what they are saying that student roll number is final, but it is able to see that you are setting some value in the student constructor for roll number. Yes or no? So that's why it assumes that I don't worry. When the object will be created, there will be some value. Yes or no?
Yes.
Why it is not forcing to give some value here? Because it is assuming, oh, there is a constructor and it contains some value. Maybe when object will be created, I will get some value. So I don't need to worry something value here at the time of declaration. Now see what will happen. Let me save it. Here we cannot why we are getting this error? Okay, we have used this function here. We have removed the normal constructor, so we cannot reuse it. Now come to your student class. Just see here the beauty of this one. For the student 1, what will be the value of roll number? What will be the value of roll number? 5. What will be the value of student 2? Tell me.
6.
Okay, and you can see it is running fine. Just see here. I will show you one beautiful thing. Now just see here. Try to change the value of student 1. Just see you are able to change. You are able to change that line number 10?
No.
Reason is that because this variable is final. This variable is final. Yes
Final.
or no?
Yes.
Now the thing is that if you are not making this constructor and parameterizing this for your student roll number, again it will start giving error to assign the value at the same place. Yes or no? And if you assign the value at same line, it will be common for everybody. Yes or no? So that's why the benefit of constructor is that you are passing the value, unique value. When value is going here, then it is setting. After setting, it cannot be changed for first object. Same thing when you are passing the value for second. At the time of creating the object, you are giving the uni value. After that, nobody can change it. Getting my point?
Yes.
So in this way, here you have created a non-static variable, but the value is unique and nobody can change it. And this is known as special concept. When we are using public static final, we call it constant variable, class constant. And whenever we are not using here static, this is called instant variable. Now it will be called instance constant. What we call instant constant. Matlab, what do you mean by instant constant? A object, this is related to, this is not shared, but it is fixed for particular object. Getting my point? Are you getting my point?
Can you repeat the definition of instant constant?
Instant constant means when instance, what do you mean by, no, it's not instance, sorry, I've used instance. You can say instance or object. Instance or object constant means for a particular object, this value is unique and nobody can change it. Getting my point? In the static, nobody can change it, but the value is common for all. Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
So this is the depth wise, it's called instance constant and it is called class constant. Okay.
Yes.
So do one thing, try to watch this video, try to practice multiple combination here, and then you will understand. Okay.